Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mary Okorie and I'm here to talk about a story that happened 15 years ago. This was October 2009 while I was still in secondary school. Before I start the story, I want to formally welcome you. If today is your first time of seeing me, welcome to my YouTube channel and please subscribe. And for my subscribers, I just want to welcome you back. So, this was in 2009, October to be precise. I just can't remember the exact date it happened. I was 13 years at the time and I was in JSS3. Please ignore the sound. I think it's an insect that comes in the night. Also, in my school that time, we had two different buildings for hostels. One was for the senior students and one was for the junior students. The senior students, their building was on this side, while the junior students had, there was space between them. Then in the junior students side, in that building, there were 8 rooms in that building, 8 different rooms, like let me say 8 hostels in that building. Now, there were 2 doors, one front door and one back door. So the rooms were facing each other. So like there were 4 on the right and 4 on the left. Then there was a center. Do you know that in that hostel, there were 2 JSS1 hostels, 2 JSS2 hostels, 2 JSS3 hostels. Then the other 2 hostels were the 7th place, that's the 7th room, the 7th hostel was for any student that didn't have space in the JSS1 or JSS2 or JSS3 that couldn't find a space, maybe they came late, will now stay in the 7th hostel. Why the 8th hostel was for the matron, the tailor, the woman that runs the kiosk. The 2 JSS1 hostels came first and they were closer to the front door, followed by the 2 JSS2 hostels, then the 2 JSS3 hostels, then the last, which is the matron and the 7th hostel. And they were near the back door. There was space in between. And in my school that time, an SS3 girl would be the hostel prefect, but she will make a JSS3 girl her assistant. So I had a friend in SS3. She was the hostel prefect of one of the JSS1 hostels. St. Michael 1 and St. Michael 2 were the names of the 2 JSS1 hostels. My friend was the hostel prefect for St. Michael 2. And then another SS3 girl was the hostel prefect for St. Michael 1. The hostel prefect for St. Michael 1 made me her assistant, while my friend, she had to choose another person to make her assistant. So eventually, that period, October 2009, I was sick that week. I can't remember the exact date, like I said earlier, but I was sick. And I was very sick. My friend in St. Michael 2 was taking care of me. Then she helped me fetch my water, everything. She normally helps me because SS3 girls have more control. They can go to fetch their water even before other students start coming. So she normally helps me even when I'm okay. So that time I was sick, she used to help me do many things. And then I'll go and sleep in my hostel. But that night, after we fetched water, after everything, then I went to sleep in her own hostel. And I slept on her bed. And then she slept on the floor. Like there was a carpet. So she would just spread a bedsheet and sleep on the floor with pillow. Then do you know that that night that I did not sleep on my bed in my hostel, that very night, when I was sleeping, in the night, I don't know, maybe 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., some people said it was 2 a.m. that this thing happened. Suddenly, I started hearing shouts. Okay, before you know, first of all, my friend That's the person I was staying in her. I will say her name. Her name is Pamela. Pamela stood up because there were shouts. And then Pamela stood up to check what was going on. And Pamela never came back. Like, she didn't just come back. So me, I was worried, what is going on? And I was sick. But I was still hearing shouts, like sound. And this was very dark, like early in the morning, maybe 1 a.m. or I don't know if it's even 11 p.m. or 12 midnight. I don't know. But some people said it was 2 a.m. that period. And then me, I stood up to go and check what was going on. I checked through the window and I looked directly to St. Michael 1 hostel. The two JSS1 hostels were facing each other. As I opened the window of one of the students, I now saw my own hostel that I was supposed to sleep in. It was on fire. Like, there was fire burning. And I didn't know what to do. Because I wasn't even wearing my slippers. I just went to check what is going on. I wasn't even wearing slippers, nothing. I just went to the door. God, they were pushing, like people were pushing. And then I couldn't even leave because they were pushing. I went back into the hostel. I was only wearing inner wear. I wasn't even wearing nightwear. I was wearing, when you're sick, you can't just wear anything that is big. You just wear small thing. I was just wearing secondary school singlet and that short. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember. Those small singlets, they come together. Singlet and that little knicker or something. I was wearing it. And then I opened the door for the second time and then I ran out. I ran out because the fire was burning from my own hostel and went to the front door. So I had to run all the way down to the back door. I was running. This fire, the smoke was too much. If you on torchlight, you cannot even see anything. Like, if you on torchlight, you cannot see anything. Because I tried to on torchlight, but I could not see anything. And then I was running until I ran out. And immediately I ran out from the back door. I fell down. That my friend, Pamela, because she had already left before, she just held me and my younger sister. They used wrapper and covered me. Girl, if you see smoke, the hostel was burning. They were shouting, leave the hostel. Everybody was running. The senior students from the senior hostel, they were coming with buckets and detergent. And me, I was not even well that period. I was sick. And then this thing was happening. And everybody come and see. They were running inside, bringing out cupboard, bringing out this, bringing out buckets, bringing out bed. But the smoke was too much. So the only people that were able to bring their own things out, like some people were able to bring some things. Some were able to bring all of their things. The people that were able to bring all of their things were those people that stayed in the 7th hostel. Before the fire would come from the front door to the back door, it would take time. So those people and the matron, that side, they were able to bring out their things. And some other students that were staying in other hostels were able to bring out just a few. Girl, if you see how this fire was burning, as soon as I ran out of the building, then my friend and my younger sister was staying at the 7th hostel. So she brought out all her things. They used wrapper to cover me. This was still early in the morning. And other students were coming out. Do you know? People were pouring bucket of water with detergent, but the fire was burning. Do you know that? I was sick, so I had to leave that place. But before I left the place, I saw one of my classmates, like, she had inhaled a lot of smoke. So they were doing CPR on her on the ground. They were, compressing her chest. Then I left the place and then I went to the senior hostel side. But I just couldn't stay there because something was going on. I then went to the classroom side and looked from the classroom to the junior hostel. If you see the fire was burning the building. The fire had different colors. Fire was blue, red, green. Fire had different colors. I was telling myself, if this is fire on earth, how is fire in hellfire going to be? If you see the fire, girl, you cannot save yourself. You cannot just leave everything inside. All my things got burnt. It was just me that came out. I was barefooted, nothing. My cupboard, my clothes, my bed, everything. I'm not the only one. There are some others, but I'm just telling you what happened. But some people were lucky to bring out their things. Then, and the truth is that that morning, now we were sleeping, so we still had some people were wearing night wear, some people were tying wrappers, some people were, and it's an only girls' secondary school. That morning we had morning mass, so that is how the Reverend Father. It's now like 5 a.m. because morning mass used to be like, I can't remember, maybe 6 a.m. or something. So it was not like 6 a.m. Reverend Father is now coming to meet a school that is in pandemonium. If you see the students, we just came out, we stayed in the compound. It was just as if Reverend Father is coming for mass, and then we're outside with the ones wearing wrapper, the ones wearing nightwear, the ones wearing towel, the ones wearing, because some people actually sleep with different things. And Reverend Father still did mass that morning. We still went to mass like that. I'm telling you the truth. Then, after all these things, the senior students had to accommodate we, the junior students. Like, they had to accommodate us. Do you know that I was sick? I had to go to the school clinic. And then I called my father and also called my mother. My father came to school the next day. The next day, he just came to school and they signed for me and I went home. As soon as I went home, my mother took me to the market. First of all, they took me to the hospital. Will I say to a pharmacy? And then they bought drugs for me and everything. And then they took me to the market and bought everything back for me. I became well. Immediately, I just went home and saw my mother. I just became well. I took the drugs. Then I came back to school with new things, like a new student. But, they didn't sign for everybody to go home because they know that if they sign for everybody, maybe the fear was that students would change school from there. So but just because I was very sick. And I think maybe there was another person they signed for, I don't know. But I went home. Girl, the whole students were scattered. Live, when you've lost your things, the only things that you have is what was in the classroom, which your locker and your books, your stool. You've lost your clothes, you've lost your bed, you've lost your everything, your bucket. So the senior students had to help us. That period I went home, I stayed like 3 days at home or something. It's like the school had to share things for the students. I don't know what happened because by the time I came back 3 days later, the school was now calm. The students had now placed themselves somewhere. Some people were sharing corner. You see a corner like two people were there or three people were sharing one bed or something like that. People were just managing themselves together. It was not easy. All the students now had to go and stay with the senior secondary students in the same building. You can imagine how it was for us. That building collapsed. The fire that burnt it brought down the whole building. Everything collapsed. So that was how we moved to the senior side. We now had to, okay, the Reverend Sister Principal now told us how to arrange ourselves. This just one will be here, just that kind of thing. We had to stay together. So we later found out that what caused it was that a JSS1 student, because that time we used to use lantern in the school. Lantern. And then it was like a JSS1 student in my hostel. She put her lantern close to the window. And then it seems the thing was now burning, and started burning because the window is wooden. So the thing started burning the window and then started burning every other place. This is what we found out. That it was a JSS1 girl's lantern. And although I'm not happy to say this, but my classmates didn't make it. The one they were giving her chest compressions, she didn't make it. May her soul rest in peace. So that was how I experienced this total disaster in secondary school. But thank God we survived it. A lot of, we moved on from it. So before you know it, students started buying back their things. They were giving students things to, like, when we went home eventually, I had gone home already. So before you know, the students started adjusting to the situation and parents were buying things back for students and, the school became normal once again. But till I left that school, they never rebuilt the building. So I'm just trying to say, if you're using lantern, be careful. And then this is just story time, what happened in my secondary school. So thanks for listening to my story. And that is why it's good to help one another, because the senior students had to help us, had to help those who didn't have anything. So, guys, this is where the story comes to an end. Thanks for watching. I'll be posting more content. And once again, I'm Mary Okorie. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye.